Hey, good morning to you. So, I just want to shout out since I always jump in from day to day, if you want to go back and either watch or read from your own book, that will catch you up. But I'm Jessie, and I'm reading The Art of Focus by Dan Koe, and I'm reading 3 pages a day. I figured since I'm reading them anyhow, I might as well share them for other folks too. I did that with Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, which is such a good book too. And I know Dan also really likes Eckhart Tolle, but this is day 27, page 107, and it's in the Path of Mastery section. Here we go. When these become static, they are limits on what you perceive as possible in life itself or individual situations. Unless you can expand your mind beyond them, you are doomed to a life of the limits you imposed on yourself through unconscious acceptance. You can observe this in your everyday life to become aware of your own mindless actions. When political elections roll around, each party will defend their stance as the best because that's what they're told, and they fail to question. The same happens with entrepreneurs and ideologues defending their business model or belief system as the best. Missing the point, essence, or message of any situation is the next culprit. People read the Bible from a literal as opposed to metaphorical point of view and end up identifying as atheists. People also interpret God as a literal man in the sky instead of a symbol for an experience or phenomenon. This misinterpretation applies to everything, not just spiritual belief systems. People close their minds at the literal interpretation of words so they can win the unconscious status game they are playing. And I just realized my. Okay, good. Just checking on the music. Sometimes I let that go. All right. Games they are playing. Sorry, now I lost my place. They don't care to follow the words to the essence of reality that words are meant to guide awareness to. I don't blame them, of course, but there is an entire world of meaning that lies beyond literal interpretations that change from culture to culture and generation to generation. People will hear the words from someone's mouth, which illustrates a microscopic fraction of who they truly are, then go on to plug those words into the story playing in their head. When this piece doesn't fit in their puzzle, they get offended, reactive, and negative because they lack understanding. This isn't a fulfilling way to live. The difference between the quick fix path and the path of mastery is that of climaxes. The pleasure seeker falls into a pit of endless climaxes that creates the largest scale addiction known to modern man. The master leans into the universal story, embraces struggle, and basks in the climax to come, but does not attempt to maintain that high. You can observe the pleasure seeker's nature in media and advertising. In a beer advertisement, you see somebody at work for what seems to be 5 minutes before the scene cuts to them slouched on the couch, beer in hand, drinking the night away to escape the stress of tomorrow's workday. The path of mastery is a cyclical process of increasing our skill as we take on more difficult challenges, so we don't default to a state of anxiety or boredom. This process is most difficult at the start, but becomes easier and more pleasurable with time. When you start your journey of education, skill acquisition, and goal achievement, you will encounter a series of plateaus. At the start, these will be short and rewarding. You will see quick progress. As you endure, the plateaus get longer and longer. You are met with two options: quit and pursue a new climax, or learn to fall in love with the process. To fall in love with the process, you must refocus your mind on the depth and detail of the present moment, like how a writer senses the smell of fresh coffee on a gloomy morning before typing the first letter of an unknown written journey, or how a chef finds appreciation in the flow of water across their hands as they prepare a fine cut of regenerative, grass-fed beef. The path of mastery is a goalless journey that is directed by self-generated goals, a paradox that teaches you that goals help with order and direction, but that ritual, presence, and clarity bring ultimate satisfaction. It takes certain complexity of mind forged through struggle to expend mental energy beyond the surface level challenges of a chosen endeavor. A notable aspect of this process is the perception threshold. Any challenge, lifelong or local, is not perceived as difficult at the start. Maybe the act of starting is, and that's a challenge in itself, but actually starting any activity is usually the easiest part. As we continue on, the perceived difficulty increases and thoughts begin to flood our head. Where most people quit is where greatness is born. When we reach the point of immense difficulty, our mind gravitates toward expectations of how things should be, not what they are. If you persist through the mental discomfort, you'll be forced to expand your mind to see reality for what it is. You cannot solve a problem from a same level of mind that created it, from the same level of mind that created it. At this point, life offers a lesson to your problems, and you break through the perception threshold. A perception, or how you interpret a situation, is a unit of mind. There are infinite ways to perceive a difficult situation, and after each struggle, a new perception emerges that allows you to perceive that situation in a more conducive manner. With time, as you expose yourself to more experience, your perspective integrates aspects of the human experience, and menial problems lose their impact on your well being. When you stick out the difficulty of a situation and break through the resistance, you see a leap in mental skill that can take on higher challenges. Some know this as the runner's high, where one overcomes a mental battle, their mind quiets, and even when it's an extremely difficult situation, one can stick it out without complaint. This is normal to someone who enjoys running. The activity in itself is enjoyable because of the self-discovered philosophy that has shaped their worldview with time. This is a pattern found in the pursuit of any long-term or short-term goal. This lesson is best learned through experience. And now that you have the awareness of this phenomenon, I would encourage you to persist through your next challenge that makes you want to quit any meaningful pursuit. Thanks to our default state of chaos and our inability to assume a difficult path between where we are and where we want to be, we procrastinate on our dreams and resort to a state of mental discomfort, which we often perceive as comfortable because that's all we know. Let's use starting a business as an example. After all, this is the next evolution for those that inevitably hit a challenge ceiling while working for someone else. And that ceiling comes quick. If I told you to work for free for 50 people and expect nothing in return, would you think I'm crazy? Or maybe would you try it for a bit, realize its difficulty, and come to the same conclusion of my delusional mental state? Then, due to a reinforced closed mind, you will go on searching for new tactics that promise faster results, just to repeat the process while standing still for years on end. If you can't see yourself doing something every day, why are you doing it? If you say you want to do this work for 5 to 10 years, why does it matter if you don't get paid for the first 6 months? When you expand your time horizon and question what you want, you'll realize what the quick fix behavior is really worth. Close to zero. This applies to every aspect of life, not just business. You didn't need a quick fix for learning to walk, speak, and brew your favorite coffee. You adopted them as part of your everyday behavior after a grueling difficulty in acquiring the skill. The only difference between your goals then and now are the illusory mental barriers that prevent you from facing reality. I think that's for today. It is. All right. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Take care. God bless.